Hola, comadres. I'm here for your Tuesday pep talk. Wow. This morning, I was not feeling pep at all. I was frustrated, struggling, having a lot of confusing thoughts and emotions and a lot of things going on. And I thought to myself, well, I got to do a pep talk because, I'm always the pep talk person. I've actually been doing a pep talk every Tuesday for about 20 weeks. So I'm like, what am I going to bring to my comadres today if I'm not feeling it? And I realized what I need to bring is who I am and how I am in this very moment. The topic that I want to talk about today is imposter syndrome. I think that all of us go through times when we feel empowered, we feel engaged, we feel like I'm on target with my goals, I'm on target with what I want to do and who I want to be. And other times we're just like, what the heck am I doing? And I think today for me was one of those days. There's some emotional swirl going on with a few things that didn't go how I had them visualized in my head. And just feeling like the imposter syndrome is like where we feel like people think we are something that we are really not. That if people really knew how I am, they wouldn't like me. Imposter syndrome is when we tell ourselves that we should be doing things so much better. We should have so much more accomplished. Or we feel like people have an image of me that isn't true, if they only knew. And so, when I feel powerful and connected, I'm not suffering from imposter syndrome. When I feel engaged and committed, that doesn't cross my mind. But when it's a day, a time, a week, a season, an experience, a situation where I feel, frustrated, I feel less than myself, I feel, well, people think like if they really knew. And so I thought, well, why not today to talk about imposter syndrome, those times when we think, well, yeah, people think I'm a good mom, but if they really knew how I felt, or they think I'm a good daughter, but if they really knew what I said, like the reality is we are human beings 24/7. We are human beings who are going to have great days, medium days, and wow, everything really sucks days. And that is okay. And when we're in that day called everything really sucks, we still have a lot to offer. We might not feel like we're on, power up to 10. We might be on a 7. We might be on a 5. But that doesn't mean we're not worthwhile. It doesn't mean that what we have to say or what we have to give does not have value. I think that's one of the things. Like this morning, we were moving furniture, and I don't know if you can hear it. It almost sounds like there's an echo in here in the classroom because we moved everything out to get ready for waxing the floor. And I feel kind of scuffed and dirty the way this floor does right now, just emotionally. And there are going to be times when we're kind of scuffed and dirty. And there's going to be other times when we're going to be cleaned up, brightened up in spirit and in emotion. And I can't really specifically put my finger on it's this or it's that or, what are the exact things that made me feel less than my regular self. Today, I don't feel like I'm Kathy at full power. I'm still Kathy, but I don't feel like I'm Kathy at full power. And you know what? That is okay. That is okay. I don't have to be a pancakes on unicorns, umbrellas, and sunshine like every day, all the time, 24/7, infinity and beyond. Sometimes I need the pep talk. Sometimes I try to give myself a pep talk. I had an experience last week sharing with one of our comadres. We talked about a situation where a mistake was discovered that she made it work, and how to process that and how we start doubting everything we ever did because we made that one mistake. Well, I had a situation yesterday where I realized here at work that I had made 2 mistakes on a payroll situation. And I think that was part of like maybe my imposter syndrome creeping up, because I take pride in making sure things are done correctly and following through. And when I found out that I'm the one that messed this up, I'm the one who didn't follow through, or I'm the one that didn't make sure that information was saved in the system, I started the self-talk of, well, what are you doing? You should know better than this. You should have noticed this by now. How many times in life have we trapped ourselves as a prisoner in, you should have known this already? If your child had an ear infection and you didn't know, what does that come to our head? Well, you should have known this already. If you were a better mother, you would have noticed. I could tell myself, well, if you were better at paying attention to things, you wouldn't have noticed, and this wouldn't have gotten away from you. This is your fault. This is your fault. And sometimes I just point the finger at myself, and once I get in that emotional state of this is your fault, well, I can start inventorying all the crap that is my fault, all the things that I haven't done since 2001. And it just starts snowballing. The same way that believing in yourself builds more belief, doubting in yourself can build more doubt. So I have to decide, which side of Kathy am I going to listen to? Who am I going to believe? Am I going to believe because I made a mistake, that I'm no good, and that people think I know what I'm doing, but I don't know jack? I can have those feelings. I can be upset or disappointed in myself, but I have to decide, how much emotional real estate am I giving to that? If I start thinking, well, I'm doing everything wrong, and I start running down everything I did since I got a job here, wow, I'm going to get stuck, and I'm going to get stuck pretty bad, and I'm going to sink lower and lower and lower in my emotional state. I'm in charge of my emotional state. Circumstances will happen, situations will happen, but it's up to me to decide how many tickets I'm buying to that performance. Like how much am I going to watch that over and over? Like, haven't we all seen something where we press replay, and we see it again? And sometimes we do that for happy moments, but usually we do that when we messed up. We replay it over and over and over, and each time it weighs more in our psychological balance. It weighs more, it takes up more space. So, I have to step back a little bit and look over. And when I think about how I reacted to this mistake or to this mood today, or the fact that I didn't feel like la la la, sis boom ba, rah rah rah, it's okay if I don't. Because real life is that we're not going to stay at a certain level all the time. Sometimes it's up and sometimes it's down. Sometimes we're going to have a day where we feel confident, competent, powerful. And other days we're like, I'm still breathing, okay? That's what I got right now. Some of my brain cells are still connecting. That's what I got right now. And I know that I am more than I give myself credit for. I know that about all of us, because we are so hard on ourselves. And part of the imposter syndrome is where that critical eye and that critical voice comes to the forefront, and it gets the loudest. So when the critical parent, the critical eye, is looking at everything we did or didn't do, it gets very loud if our confidence has been eroded because we put too much weight on one mistake. That's what I notice. It's one day. It's one day. It's one day, it's one mistake, it's one moment in time. It's not going to change the course of history, But sometimes it's up to me how much emotional real estate I give to that. So realize that whatever you're going through right now, there's times when you're going to handle it better than others. There's times when you're going to be more resilient than at other times. There's times when you're going to be able to access your emotional resources, and other times that it seems like they slip through your fingers. So, keep in mind, you are who you are how you are, and how you are right now is okay. If you're feeling like a 5 out of a 10, well, hey, you made it up to 5. And it's okay. We don't have to be on top of the world all the time. And sometimes it looks like other people have it together all the time, and I'm the only one who's a hot mess. And the reality is we're all a hot mess sometimes hotter than others. But to love and accept ourselves as we are in the moment, that is the key to breaking down imposter syndrome and saying, I'm doing the best I can right now, and my best does not have to look the same every single day. So whatever's going on with you, know that I'm thinking of you, know that I care about you, and I'm willing to come in and say how I'm doing, because I'm always asking you, how are you doing? So this is my day to jump in and just say, I don't have it all together. Sometimes I feel like I don't even know what I'm doing, but I'm not giving up. I'm gonna keep trying, I'm gonna keep pressing on, and sometimes I'm gonna hit pause. And I'm just gonna sit down for a little bit and feel what I'm feeling, process it, and keep moving forward. And that's all we can do in this life. If I don't accept how I'm feeling, it's gonna take a bigger toll. If I put on a fakeness that I gotta be fake, I gotta be this way, I gotta be that way, and like, everyone's like, well, how are you? Fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. When you're not fine at all, haven't we been conditioned to do that? Sometimes we just need to say, you know what, I'm not fine, but I will be. I'm not okay, but I will be. And then call on your resources, your comadres, your resilience practices. My mood is much better than it was this morning. Doesn't mean I'm on A+, but I'm not in the gutter either. So thanks for listening. That's one of the biggest things that turns things around for me, connection. Keep connecting. Hope to see you on Zoom tomorrow. Bye for now.